Hi, this is Kumar Singh from Design Analytics LLC, and you are watching another episode of Tuesday Trivia. Well, the trivia or the question that we are going to discuss today is a question that has been doing rounds actually very frequently on LinkedIn and on other technology related discussion forums, which is based on a study by MIT. People are asking a question: do 95% of projects really, AI projects, really fail? That's a very important and powerful question, and the findings are equally amazing, or I would say more like controversial is the right term, right? So the question is, are 95% of AI projects really failing? And my one word answer is no. Now let's get into the details, as in why I think the answer should be or is no. Well, first of all, I was kind of surprised that an institution like MIT allowed a clickbait statement or key insight like this go viral, because the point is, the reason most people are taking this 95% failure as it is without going into the details is because of the trust, right? I mean, as you may know, I share a lot of studies, insights, and research from MIT. When it comes to the world of technology, you have kind of a blind faith in terms of what comes from that institution. So I am kind of surprised that this insight was allowed to go viral without all the disclaimers. And there, if you go through the details, if you try to understand, and most importantly, if you are familiar with the real world technology implementation nuances, what you will understand here is that one of the key things that I will bring and I will kind of harp upon in this episode is the timeline post implementation. So the value in terms of success or failure was measured after few months of implementation, and that's where we have to understand how AI initiatives, and when I say AI, we are talking about the AI as we kind of view it these days: advanced deep learning algorithms, right? Generative AI, GPTs and LLMs, not machine learning, right? So not a churn detection model or something like that, right? When you're thinking about AI and the value from it, it's the timeline becomes entirely different. First of all, you have to understand these models, which kind of harp or bank upon vast amount of data and learning from it over a period of time, that's the keyword here, actually will take sometimes a long duration of time to kind of learn what they are trying to learn within the unique specific nuances of that specific organization's data, right? If that was not communicated before implementation, then I would doubt the quality of implementation or the solution as well, right? Because anybody trying to advise an organization or entity on actual true AI capabilities would also kind of very explicitly explain that aspect, right? Now, there is another perspective to it, right? The value, right? How do you measure value when the solution itself would take a specific amount of time to actually learn and start delivering value? And because we look at it from conventional ways, so let's kind of try to go through this to understand why measuring the impact after a few months doesn't kind of actually lead to a failure or success of AI projects, right? Profitability, right? That's something that companies always chase, and consulting companies always try to kind of help them. And if you have interviewed with a consulting company and have done the infamous case study interview question, so you break profitability into what? Revenue, costs, right? Now, typically the measures that companies take, right, for other types of digital transformation or analytics project are kind of short-term impact, right? The challenge with those is they do not always sustain the impact, right? So in terms of, say, let's take the cost bucket, right? You do in the world of supply chain, you do say inventory optimization. I have written about it so many times. The conventional method of inventory optimization will show a result, will show an impact, right? You can brand it a success, but every organization keeps on doing that inventory optimization every few years, right? Because these initiatives are done in silo. They are very not that the method is bad, the optimization method is bad, but because many of the nuances of the organization, the way organization operates, interfaces cannot be captured within optimization. So even though it might be a tick in terms of success or failure, it might not actually be success. Now, there are ways actually that you can leverage deep learning coupled with Gen AI for inventory management. And that will be much more powerful, because if you implement it in a specific way, it kind of interfaces, it should interface with all the different teams or sub-functions that can impact inventory management, like transportation, and that would allow the AI algorithm, the overall comprehensive AI algorithm, or like the various AI modules that interface with one algorithm, whatever architecture you decide to choose, to actually learn, right? And understand what's going on, and whether any specific reduction in terms of like reducing safety stock and all actually will lead to sustainable cost reduction or not, right? And the same goes on the revenue side, right? You can have like some short-term impact, changing something. Say you're an e-commerce company, you change something in the portal, there is an increment in revenue, right? On the other hand, a post that I made, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago, on the nudge theory aspect, where AI can actually take nudge theory to a whole new different level when you are shopping online, to kind of push you, convince you to buy your product, right? And in that case, AI will take time. AI will take time to understand, right? To learn, kind of observe you, right? It will take time, it may take months, right? But once it's active, it's going to actually deliver consistent, sustainable, not one-time impact, right? So that's something that I kind of made a pivotal or foundational thought process when it comes to my answer to the question as no, 95% of AI projects do not fail. But that does not mean that a significant percentage does not fail. I have said myself as well that a significant percentage of AI projects do fail. I would say it's around 50%. I think they fail because if many organizations do not have the fundamentals to actually implement even true rudimentary digital transformation initiatives, no matter the size. They could be Fortune 10 company, right? But the piecemeal approach that most organizations have kind of pursued for decades still exists, right? So for AI, that wouldn't work. If you really want to develop an enterprise AI solution, there's a legwork that needs to be done on the foundation, while in parallel you will have pilots, you will keep on experimenting, right? Doing pilots, experimentation, innovation, so that all that can then kind of infuse once you have the foundation. Well, I hope that was a little bit useful. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you again on Thursday.